So Lisa, you're the executive director of the Exchange BIZ. How would you describe the dynamic here of the arts and cultural industries in the Exchange?
I would say that we have a bit of everything down here. Starting off with the more maybe alternative or edgy artists and artist studios down here. We have a lot of artists in the Exchange District who live in a situation I would call bohemian living. You know, they live in their studios. As well, we have a lot of art galleries down here, both on the nonprofit side that are exhibiting local art, as well to larger commercial galleries that feature the best of Canadian artwork, whether it's sculpture or painting. So I think that the breadth there is pretty phenomenal. One of the features of the neighborhood that it maybe existed more in the past than it does now was inexpensive rent. So I think that's why you get a lot of the smaller groups, even arts administration groups, that are able to afford to be down here.
Do you feel that the arts and cultural activity here in the Exchange plays a large part in the perception to the rest of Winnipeg?
I think when people think of the Exchange District, they think of historic buildings and they think arts and culture. I think that the number of arts groups down here and artists and all different kinds of art media is so concentrated here that you can't help but notice that flavor when you're down here.
So we're here with Trudy. You wear a number of hats in the area. Can you tell us what some of them are?
Well, right at the moment, I have 3 positions, I guess. For today, one of the important ones is that I'm chair of the Exchange BIZ board. I'm also the executive director of the Winnipeg Folk Festival. Now, I'm in transition, actually, from the Folk Festival to the Winnipeg Symphony Orchestra.
So do you see the artists that are living here in the Exchange in their workspaces contributing in a large way to promoting the identity and the activity of the Exchange to the rest of Winnipeggers?
They certainly do. The artists who live in this area, I think, are very important for a couple of reasons. One of them is historical, in that those are the people who, in fact, identified this as sort of an area that had a lot of potential for the creative community. And they, in fact, in some ways, were the people that kept this area viable and identified it as an area that is creative. And so they were there as the vanguard, and those were the people that made it possible for art space to develop in this area, made it increasingly possible for others of us in the arts community to identify this as an area that we wanted to make our operational homes because they were already living here. Secondly, the thing that is really great about having them in the area is that you find that where there are congregations of artists in a city area, you'll have sort of coffee shops flourishing. Because in many cases their art form is fairly solitary in nature, and they tend to look for places to congregate. So where artists live in a neighborhood, you'll also have sort of the flourishing of the kinds of stores that start attracting other people to an area and other shops. So I think actually they are at the center of the redevelopment of this area. They're center of the personality of this area. So now our dilemma is, how do we in fact maintain that core of artists living and working in this area as part of the dynamics of this area? And I think that the city has to identify that as a priority, because they're not the people who will buy $300,000 condos, that's for sure.
So what do you think the future holds for the artistic community here in the Exchange?
I believe, and many others in the creative community and elsewhere, believe that the Exchange District has the potential to be a real driver for both the image and the development and maintenance of a creative community, creative industries, as well as individual artists. Now, I mean, they are the vanguard of municipal redevelopment, and if the city is smart enough, and other bodies are smart enough to realize, now who in fact are the people who will generate this change, and generate it at a very cost-effective way. I mean, artists, have an incredible ability to, in fact, create that kind of change on a shoestring. So why would we not incorporate that into part of our planning process?